Right now, as you're listening to this, imagine a man sitting in a small prison cell in Florida. His name was Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. On January 24th, 1989, the world's eyes turned to the Florida State Prison as Bundy counted down his final hours. Outside the prison gates, crowds gathered, chanting for his death. Inside, Bundy prepared for the electric chair. But what exactly happened in those last 24 hours? Tonight, we take you inside Bundy's chilling final day. Ted Bundy wasn't just any killer. He was educated, charismatic, and disturbingly manipulative. His crimes shocked the nation because he didn't fit the stereotype of a monster. For years, Bundy managed to escape justice, slipping out of custody twice and leaving behind a trail of at least 30 known victims, though many believe the number is far higher. But in 1978, after brutally attacking women at Florida State University's Chi Omega sorority house and later kidnapping and murdering 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, Bundy's reign of terror finally came to an end. Convicted and sentenced to death, his time was running out. At exactly 12:01 a.m. on January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was awakened in his death row cell. Guards performed their final checks, ensuring every step followed protocol. Unlike many inmates who spent their last day with family, Bundy's only visitors were his attorney and a Methodist minister. His last meal was offered: steak, eggs, hash browns, toast, and milk. But Bundy refused to eat. Instead, he sat quietly, pale and restless, occasionally whispering to the minister who stayed by his side. Outside the prison, hundreds of people had already gathered by dawn. They held signs that read "Burn, Bundy, burn," and "Justice at last." Some chanted, others sang, and vendors even sold T-shirts. Never before had an execution drawn such a carnival-like atmosphere. As the hours ticked away, Bundy was moved into a holding cell just steps away from the execution chamber. Reporters who saw him described a man completely changed, no longer the arrogant, confident killer, but a hollow figure waiting for his fate. He made no final phone calls, no desperate pleas. He simply waited. At 7 a.m., the moment arrived. Bundy was escorted into the execution chamber. The infamous electric chair, nicknamed Old Sparky, stood waiting. Guards strapped him tightly into the seat as witnesses filled the viewing room. Reporters, victims' families, and prison officials. When asked for his final words, Ted Bundy looked straight ahead and spoke softly. "I'd like to give my love to my family and friends." Moments later, the switch was thrown. A surge of 2,000 volts ripped through his body. Witnesses reported smoke rising from his leg as the electricity burned into his skin. Within minutes, the reign of terror that haunted America for more than a decade was over. At 7:16 a.m., Ted Bundy was pronounced dead. Outside, as news spread, the crowd erupted in cheers. They shouted, clapped, and even set off fireworks. For many, it was a celebration of justice. For the families of Bundy's victims, it was closure, though the scars of his crimes could never truly heal. But Bundy's death also left behind questions that still haunt society today. How could someone who looked so normal commit such horrific crimes? How did he manage to manipulate, deceive, and destroy so many lives without suspicion for so long? Psychologists would later label him a textbook psychopath. Intelligent, charming, but completely devoid of empathy. Some believe Bundy's execution was the only fitting end for a man who caused so much pain. Others argue that studying him further could have helped us better understand the criminal mind and perhaps prevent future tragedies. As the smoke cleared and the cheers faded, Ted Bundy's name became forever etched into history. Not for greatness, not for achievement, but for the darkness he carried within him. So I'll leave you with this question. Did Bundy's execution truly bring justice, or was it just society's way of ending a nightmare it couldn't understand? Share your thoughts below. And if you want to hear more chilling stories from death row and beyond, subscribe to Final Black Verdict, where every crime meets its final judgment.